Nowadays, people are discussing on present BOP crisis and drastic volatility in the exchange rate. Therefore, we will be discussing on current exchange rate and expected outcomes. Countries facing extremely challenging economic circumstances at present, while it is going through the worst BOP crisis in history. LKR is subject to tremendous depreciation pressure amidst the shortage of FX liquidity in the domestic FX market, warranting a measured adjustment. However, the outcome of the exchange rate flexibility that was thereafter allowed following the initial measured adjustment fell short of expectations due to large overshooting by market forces. This behavior of exchange rate, since allowing more flexibility in March, suggests the needful, careful sequencing of measures when allowing flexibility in exchange rate under BOP crisis situations. Following the excessive depreciation, inflation accelerated significantly through imported prices, while second-round effects of such excessive depreciation on other goods and services were also observed subsequently. Moreover, due to the acute shortage of FX liquidity in the domestic market, along with continuous depreciation of exchange rate, the conversions of FX by the FX holders delayed. Meanwhile, the demand for FX in the grey market strived to part finance rising import demand outside the banking system, causing further pressures on the currency as well as heightening stresses in the banking system. This significant volatility of the exchange rates drove up the interbank exchange rates as well. Against this backdrop, limiting the extent of depreciation and excessive volatility became necessary. If remained unresolved, such boundless rate of depreciation of the exchange rate would have led to extremely detrimental impact on overall macroeconomic stability. Further, during the discussions with the heads of treasuries of licensed commercial banks, the need for some guidance to the market from the CBSL for the degree of volatility of the exchange rate movements was emphasized. In consultation with the market players, CBSL commenced providing daily guidance on the degree of volatility to all licensed commercial banks from 13th May. Although this arrangement is often misinterpreted as peg exchange rate regime, there are clear distinctions between the current transitory arrangement and the peg exchange rate system. Implementation of this arrangement has brought in a greater stability in the exchange rate determination in both formal market and the grey market thus far. According to the feedback received from the stakeholders, there exists broader consensus on the current arrangement of the exchange rate, which is market-driven with less volatility and more predictability. This shows the interbank market-weighted average spot rate from 13th May onwards. This shows the exchange rate is being allowed to fluctuate under the current arrangement, but the degree of volatility remains contained to some extent. Government of Sri Lanka and the CBSL implemented several complementary measures alongside the current exchange rate arrangement. Restrictions imposed on open accounts and consignment payment terms have helped curtail activity in the grey market, thereby narrowing the gap between the official exchange rate and the grey market rate. Accordingly, the current exchange rate arrangement is viewed as a more predictable mechanism. Import expenditure has declined notably in May compared to this year's April, according to provisional data from Sri Lanka Customs. Despite the reduction in import expenditure, all possible measures would be taken to secure availability of essential commodities. Given the degree of overshooting of the exchange rate in March, a further market-based correction is expected. This improved momentum in the domestic foreign exchange market is expected to consolidate with the progress being made towards reaching the staff level arrangement with the IMF. CBSL would like to reiterate that the current arrangement of exchange rate would be reviewed from time to time and further flexibility would be allowed if needed. Today's presentation reference is from Central Bank News, titled as the current exchange rate arrangement. Thanks for watching.